Okay, so we all know what's happening. The HVAC equipment is costing twice as much as it used to, and it's only lasting half as long. And a lot of you have worked hard for your money, and you've got dreams, you've got children you want to put through college, you've got people that you want to have medical procedures for, and you just didn't want to spend your money on just being able to keep your air conditioning on. And I know I felt that way. So, what I've done about it, we live in Cape Fear Valley. The July highs are 95 degrees, and we can expect a heat wave of 106 degrees every summer, at least once during the summer. This past summer, my HVAC went out, and I was informed by the HVAC company that the price was going to be at least twice as much as it had cost to put in my ductwork and everything in the first place, and that it was only going to last half as long until I had to pay again, and that the price was increasing. So what I did was I went ahead and opened up all my windows, and I'm a vegetarian as long as in the summer you do not eat greasy food that will give you a little bit of a fever. These greasy foods like red meat and fried chicken and French fried, where you fry it up yourself, they will give you a little bit of inflammation. They will give you a little low fever. So I didn't take that. I opened up all the windows to my house. I do not at this time have shade to my house. And I really didn't feel that bad. I kind of enjoyed it. The air was fresh. The main problem was that my sheetrock in my house heated up during the day, and so my house would be 85 degrees near about midnight. So what I did was I installed a whole house exhaust fan, which is 1,000 cubic feet per minute, and it gives an air change in the whole house about every 2 minutes, every 2 to 3 minutes, and that cooled the sheetrock off rapidly. I would put that on a timer and turn it on between 9 p.m. and 9 a.m. Now what I am holding here is the shade for this house. A shade tree can put its roots down, and it will pick up the groundwater, and the area under a shade tree where it's putting the air into your house can be 25 degrees below the outside air temperature, so you're enjoying fresh air. I wore shorts without a shirt in the house, and I had fans in the house, and I was not uncomfortable. I ate frozen desserts out of the freezer, like frozen grapes, and I actually enjoyed it. I didn't do badly, and we would have highs in the 90s. I was okay. Now, I had to pick shade trees for this house there's two problems with trees near your house. Number one, the tree may fall on your house and crush your house. Number two, the roots may lift the footer of your house and crack the footer of your house. Now, today we're going to talk about, in a future video, which will be part 2 of this series, replacing HVAC with shade trees. We will, and by the way, let me say right now that I'm going to put a lot of information in the description of this video that we don't have time to say on this video, so please read the description for more details. This is a Paulownia tree. A Paulownia tree does not get up. It only gets, when it's in full sun, it only gets 40 to 50 feet tall, and it spreads out. It's a very lightweight wood. It's the strongest wood for its weight of any wood in the world. It's the fastest growing tree in the world. It can get 30 feet in 3 years. And the roots are very, very vigorous, but they're rather soft, and they won't penetrate a 60 mil thick high density polyethylene root barrier, which is what I'm doing today. I got my Paulownia trees from the World Paulownia Institute in Georgia. This is how they came, and they were all curled up in it. They were severely root bound, curled up in a bird's nest in there. Did not look healthy at all. I put them into these bigger pots, and I got them in November. It's now December the 23rd. So I immediately put them into these bigger pots, and I'll keep those until springtime and probably give them away to the neighbors, because I've already planted 3 of them around the house, and if those do all right, I'll probably sell or give these away to the neighbors. It was $79 for 10 of those, which makes them $7.90 a piece, which is what I'd sell them for. There's one of them planted right there, and this is not where you would normally plant a shade tree this close to your house. You can see that's about maybe 9 or 10 feet from my house, and it's only about 5 feet from the barn. And let me just say that this is a tree has huge leaves, even if it did fall on your house, it would be lightweight and it would roll off the house. Plus, the branches and leaves blow off the tree very easily, so very likely the tree would stay rooted in the ground and the branches and the leaves would just roll off the top of your house. Now, when I plant a tree, I've been planting trees since 1985. I'm now 62 years old, and believe me, I'm young for my age. This tree right here, for example, I know how to plant trees. This tree is not even 4 years old, and you can see how big, and this is not even a very fast growing tree. But when I plant a tree, there are 2 types of roots that a tree has. One is the tap roots that go down. Both roots need to be kept healthy. The tap roots grow down into the ground. A paulownia tree has 15 tap roots that really go down and grip into the ground. You need to provide for both roots. So what I do is I have background in the forestry service. You create the roots that pick up the nutrients are the feeder roots, and the roots that pick up the water are the tap roots. The feeder roots are concentrated in the top 6 to 8 inches of soil. That's what's going to pick up your nitrogen, potassium, and all the things that are going to make your tree healthy and grow fast. And the tap roots will go down and pick up the water. Now, a paulownia has very vigorous tap roots, and if you don't provide a way to get down through the hard-crusted dirt, when they build a house, they vibrate everything so that the house doesn't settle, and they compact the dirt with heavy equipment. So what I had to do, I excavated. Henry, I'm going to walk the perimeter of what I excavated. This is about 10 feet this way, and about 4 feet this way, and about another 10 feet this way, and maybe 9 feet across this way. You can see this is a very big area. I excavated down 8 inches. Henry, what are you doing? We're not looking at the trench. We're looking at the site for that I planted the tree.
I was just showing the excavation that you did.
No, this is the excavation. That's trench for the root barrier. Okay, so once I got down 8 inches deep, I had the dirt all to the side, and some of it I hauled off. I took post hole diggers, and I dug about 15 post holes in here, 2 feet deep, which was what got me through the compacted ground to where the tap roots could go down and grow through those holes instead of hitting hard dirt and going sideways and hitting my house. I filled those holes with pine bark mulch so that the roots would have something organic, and they really, really like organic matter. So when they feel that organic matter, they're going to go, oh, that's organic matter, and they're going to follow it down. Then after I had gotten those filled up, and I even put a little black cow in there to, entice them down, I took a miner's kit like this, This is a 13-inch minor pick, 6-pound minor pick, and I busted up the bottom of that 8-inch deep excavation that was approximately 120 square feet, and that gave me well, but first, before I busted it up, I put about that much pine bark mulch on the bottom of that hole, and then when I put lime on top of that, enough to buffer the acidity of the pine bark mulch, and then I swung this and I busted it up, which mixed the organic matter to a depth of about 21 inches. So you can see that once I spooned dirt on top of that, about that much dirt on top of the pine bark mulch and everything, and then I turned it all in, and then I put another about that much pine bark mulch, and then that much more dirt, and then again I turned that in. For that, you can use a shovel or a pitchfork to mix that up, or you can just leave it layered. You can leave a layer of pine bark mulch and then a layer of dirt. That's called a lasagna pattern. But this is what's called a berm planting. You're not planting your tree into a hole, you're planting it into a mound. And that is very important for the health of your feeder roots, because feeder roots need air. And a mistake a lot of people make is they dig these holes and they don't make them wide enough, they don't allow enough root, they don't allow enough air to those feeder roots, and those feeder roots will not prosper. They will not be able to get the air, and they will not multiply. This will have a very, very great network of spider web-like feeder roots all through this organic matter, and it will shoot up like crazy, and we will show that over the next 3 years. In 3 years, I predict that this tree will be over 35 feet tall and over 8 inches in diameter. And I have seen paulownia trees that were not even planted with this kind of care that got that tall. But this is so. The roots will have a good zone here, and they will not be seeking water elsewhere. Now, what Henry was looking at is my root barrier, and if you look here, you'll see that's the root barrier right there. I had unfolded it. That's 30 inches wide by 60 mil thick. That's high density polyethylene. I actually paid $352 for that. But if you compare that to the $10,000 that you're spending just for the HVAC equipment that's going to last you only 8 years now, that's only $352 versus $10,000 just for enough to get you through 8 years. And this is going to get you through 100 years. It'll get you through. It'll get the people who come after you through. So it's not much, and so this is just a barn. These trenches have to be about 16 inches deeper than the bottom of your footer. Now down here in the south, our footers only have to be by code 12 inches below the grade, which is the frost line here. So this trench here has to be 28 inches deep, and that plastic is 30 inches wide, so about 2 inches will be sticking up, and that is a root barrier, and this house will have absolutely no issues. There is no possibility that those roots will lift and crack the foundation of this house. They cannot make it through that high density polyethylene barrier. Now, as far as the work, I'm 62 years old, like I said, and I'm not a big strong guy, but this was not hard to do. These are the essential. There's a lot of strategies for digging a trench. This is a trenching shovel, also called a clean out shovel. if you're over, if I'm a little over 6 feet tall, so I like to get one with a handle that's 53 inches long. This one on the AM Leonard website, this was $65 with shipping. That's the best deal you're going to get on it. It's an 11 gauge head. It's quite heavy, but that works for you because it's like using an 8-pound maul to split logs with. That weight works for you. You're not, when you shove forward, it works for you. And when you get this thing, it'll be blunt on the end, so go ahead and sharpen it. As you use it, it will get sharper, but it's going to cut the ground a lot better. When you first cut the soil, I like to take a reciprocating saw or a circular saw with an old blade and cut through the grass so that you've cut your grass and you don't have a bunch of roots sticking out, hitting every shovelful you lift up. It just makes it real easy to lift up out of there. Let me back up and say that the first thing you want to do is set stakes everywhere it's going to turn, and stretch a string, and then take these bamboo splints, that they make shish kebab with, and along the string set those things so that you get your trench running straight. And because a straight trench is a short trench, also you do not want water to fall inside of that barrier. This has a 2-foot overhang, and I don't use gutters. I have one gutter right there, and I don't use downspouts because when you have trees around your house, your downspouts are going to clog up. So if you do want gutters, just leave them without downspouts. You can take something like this. It falls right, it'll fall, and then you just put something like that, and some sort of clay on there so that water will fall on that and go away from your house. That way you won't be cleaning your gutters all the time. The wind and the water will clean those gutters right out, and your downspouts will not clog up because you will not have downspouts. So, anyway, you put these things, and then it's very easy to trench from one to the other. And so I'll start my trenching out like this. I'll just, I'll go along, and as I go, I'll work from one stick to the other, and it'll keep it really straight. Like that, and this will mark what I'm doing. This will get me going straight through here. And once I've got that established, that I'm going straight, then I have this strategy right here. This is a mattock. It's a very lightweight mattock, and you can then proceed like this, and this will get you through the next, so you're about 20 inches deep, 16, 20 inches deep. It's very fast and very easy to do this. Just keep going, and going and going. You see I'm going on down. Get that root barrier in there, and like I said, this stuff will last forever. It's high density polyethylene. It will stay there forever, for 100 years, 200 years. Plastic, that's the problem with it. It doesn't break down. Once the trench gets a little deeper, and this thing starts to hit the side of the trench, You've got two options, and what I do, I like to shift between the both, because I'll get tired of one way and then I'll shift to the other way, and then I'll go back and forth, and that way I never get tired. Once that gets too deep, you can either take this and start, trenching out and cleaning out, The other thing I like to do, besides those two things, if that starts getting deep and you start hitting the side of your trench, you can use this. And you can just bust up. I mean, it's going to want to pick up out of there, but I don't, at that point, you don't want to use that as a pickup. You just want to bust it up some, like that. Warm you up. Okay, so then you'll clean that out. This is, by the way, a 3-inch trenching shovel. They make a 4-inch trenching shovel, and you can always cut that down. You can always get it as narrow as you want, because the less dirt you dig out, the easier and quicker it's going to be. So you can do that, and if you want, you can, and by the way, I don't do this for a living. I'm just like you. I mean, I probably haven't dug a trench in 5 years, so I'm as out of shape as anybody. Okay, so let's see. Okay, this is actually the same thing as this, except that I cut the, I use this to weed with. And this is a farm